Have you ever sat down and like imagined your perfect Guilters 2 expansion? You know, just for fun. It doesn't have to be realistic. You can use spears on land now. We're going to the mythical lands of Janthir. Raids are back and you can do them on open world now. Player housing. There's a cute kitty mount and also bears. It's like ArenaNet were doing that and then it just went like, what if we just do that? I like the music. It's very like Nordic.
It may be dangerous, but this place.
Oh,
Stunning.
Is that cave?
Think there are any white mantle left in the area?
Oh,
I've
it's
heard
like
enough rumors.
it's like White Mantle ruins.
A storm looms over that place.
Anise
That
is
is
back.
not a territory I wish to cross.
Oh my god, it looks so good.
My bear kin have lived in
The land spear. Oh! Are those Conan? Are those Conan? Oh my god. The land spear.
Is this?
Those enemies.
Do not walk among all lands.
A false god!
I love that Malice is here, out of everyone. What a sick logo. It's a spear, right? It's like a spearhead.
This place is no longer home to me. But perhaps it can be.
They're doing housing! They're totally doing housing! What the hell? They're actually doing it! Alright everybody, ArenaNet just announced Janthir Wilds, the next expansion for Guilters 2. And as you might be able to tell from the intro, I am incredibly excited. It really just feels as if this expansion is adding a lot of features that we have been asking for years. Stuff like player housing, land spears, and my personal favorite, the return of raids. I am incredibly hyped, so today I just wanted to sit down and sort of casually talk about all of these features and, you know, sort of give my thoughts. This is a unscripted video, but don't worry, I do have more scripted videos in the pipeline as well. First, I want to briefly talk about the general setting of this expansion. Of course, Janthir Wilds is going to be taking place in Janthir, and while that place might not immediately ring a bell for you, all of the lore nerds are really excited. Janthir is the mysterious homeland of the Mersat, who were the villains of the original Guilters game, and this place has been teased since all the way back in 2005. When I first saw this place on the world map in Guilters 1, I never expected that I would have to wait 15 years to be able to go to Janthir, but it is finally happening. There is a ton of interesting lore surrounding this area, about the Mersat and the White Mantle, but this trailer also seems to be teasing the Titans, and we also get to see the super cool new lowland Kodan. I think there's a ton of potential to tell a really cool story here. The map that we got to see in the trailer gave me big Skyrim or Iceboot Saga vibes, and that also has me pretty excited. For all the hate that the Iceboot Saga gets, I actually think the maps that were added were quite good and really pretty, so I'm very excited to see ArenaNet take another swing at this. After spending so much time on floating islands in the sky, it's also just nice to be back on the ground exploring a sprawling landscape. And somewhere inside of that sprawling landscape will also be a place that we will get to call home, because Guilters 2 is finally adding player housing. This is another one of those features that has been requested for years. Guilters 2 has the personal home instance, but this place has never really felt like a proper housing system. You can get some gathering notes and some NPCs, but that's about it. But with the new homestead system, we'll actually be able to properly decorate our own homes. We don't have too many details yet, but I'm guessing this system will work pretty similarly to the current guild hall decoration system. I think housing fits really well with Guilders 2. A lot of the player base likes being creative and expressing themselves through their fashion wars, so having a space you can truly customize and make your own will be super nice for those players. It's also got the potential to offer super cool rewards. Imagine a rare decoration that can drop from a world boss, and suddenly I think I actually care about home instance nodes. I never really cared about these before, but ArenaNet has confirmed that your home instance nodes will be carrying over to your homestead, so I might have to start collecting these now. I do think that the homestead system is one of those systems that you either care about a lot or don't care about at all. I can totally imagine that some raiders will just never engage with this system, but those raiders will also be pretty happy to hear that Janthir Wilds will be adding a new raid wing. I'm just gonna sit here and smile. I can't believe they're doing it! They're actually freaking doing raids again. Let's go, everyone. Oh my gosh. Redlock, what are your thoughts? Redlock, I want to know your thoughts about raids coming back.
The humans believed they'd beaten us back, but our blades would know vengeance.
Okay, great. It is actually happening, y'all. Raids are coming back to Guilders 2. I think I've probably got to give you a little bit of context if you're out of the loop on this, but basically, we haven't had any raids in Guilders 2 for the past 5 years. The short version is that raids were very costly to produce, but were only played by a very small part of the player base. So about 5 years ago, ArenaNet made the decision to move away from raids and make strike missions instead. Strike missions are pretty similar to raids in the sense that they are both 10-man boss encounters, but instead of having a whole raid wing with multiple bosses, strike missions are standalone bosses that reuse the same assets as the story. This is of course a lot more economical, and I honestly think that ArenaNet proved that they can make really awesome strike bosses as well. Just a couple months ago, we had the super difficult Sarah's Challenge mode, which is easily my favorite boss encounter in the whole game. But there is still something kinda special about taking on a proper raid wing. It's just cool for raid bosses to have their own separate story and map, and having a wing that consists of multiple bosses is also much more interesting for speedrunning. I'm super glad that raids are back, but I think it's really important that ArenaNet doesn't repeat the same mistakes of the past. Back in the day, raids weren't played very much just because they weren't very accessible to the majority of the player base. This time though, there are going to be 4 different difficulty settings of the raids. First up, there is going to be an open world meta event mode. I think this is super smart. This way, they get to use all the assets for the raids as an open world event, and hopefully more players will be able to enjoy content like this without having to find themselves a raid static. Then there's gonna be the normal mode that we're used to, and in a later patch there will also be a challenge mode and a super difficult legendary mode. This is awesome. With these 4 difficulty settings, I really hope that this raid will be able to be enjoyed by the majority of the player base, so that everybody can experience the cool raid story, the cool boss models, and the sick music. And the fact that there's legendary mode really makes the hardcore raider inside of me super happy. I absolutely cannot wait.
Just damage. Just damage.
Just damage. Just damage. It has to die now.
Oh my god!
The raids will not be coming out directly with Janthir Wilds release, but the open world mode and normal modes will be coming in patch 1, and then the challenge mode and legendary modes will be coming out in patch 2. They actually confirmed that the first patch for Janthir Wilds will not include the new open world map, but I really hope that a majority of the player base will give the open world version of this raid a shot. The next big widely requested feature that's coming out with Janthir Wilds is land spears. Just like in Secrets of the Obscure, every single class will be getting a new weapon, but this time every class is getting its own land spear. Previously, spears were exclusively an underwater weapon, but now every class will be able to use it on land as well. These weapons are coming out on day 1 of the expansion, and it's kind of a big deal because this is the first time we're getting a new weapon archetype on land. That means lots of new weapon animations, and I think that that is something that was maybe missing a little bit from the Secrets of the Obscure weapons. Some classes will be getting a melee spear, some classes are getting a ranged spear, and we already know of at least one class that will be getting a hybrid spear that can both be ranged and melee. The developers have already started revealing some of these spear weapons, and I won't be making videos for all of these, but if you want to stay up to date, you should definitely check out my Twitch stream where I always discuss all the latest Guild Wars 2 news. I honestly wasn't expecting these spears to be coming out so soon, because the Soda weapons are only a couple months old. But I am always excited to get new tools to play with, and I just really hope Ellie finally gets a new ranged weapon. I guess we will have to see. These are probably the biggest features of Janthir Wilds, but there is actually a bit more. ArenaNet also confirmed that the convergence system will be making a comeback in this expansion. They've also mentioned that there's going to be a new fractal with a challenge mode in the 3rd patch, and on launch day, we are also getting a Warclaw rework. Warclaw is the mount that you get to use in Worlds vs. Worlds, and technically you can use it in PvE, but it doesn't really do anything that the Raptor or the Jackal doesn't do. In Janthir Wilds, you'll be able to unlock the Warclaw in PvE. It is a lot cuter now, but it will also have an expanded moveset. We don't know too many details about this yet, but we do know that the Warclaw will be getting a double jump. With spears having such a big focus in this expansion, I wonder if maybe, just like in Worlds vs. Worlds, we'll be able to throw spears from our Warclaw. But really, the reason I want one is just because they're very cute. There will be a new legendary spear to go for, and also a new legendary backpack. The legendary spear is only coming out in patch 1 though, and personally, I kind of want to have a legendary spear starting on day 1, because you'll be able to use a legendary spear on every single class. So my plan for now is to make the current generation 1 legendary spear, and then once the new one comes out, make that one as well. Finally, ArenaNet also confirmed that a new PvP game mode is in development. It's probably gonna take a long time for this to come out, but it's nice to finally see PvP getting some love again. I am not much of a PvP player myself, but it has been a really long time since PvP as a game mode has gotten some love, so ArenaNet confirming that a new game mode is on the way is actually kind of a big deal. All in all, I am really happy with this expansion announcement. It feels like a lot of stuff that we have been dreaming of for a long time is gonna be in this expansion. ArenaNet is now doing a new expansion every single year, and honestly, I was a little bit concerned that this meant that they couldn't do super big features like housing, for example. But this expansion so far very much seems to be proving me wrong. Of course, we will still have to wait and see what the actual execution will be like. For now though, I am incredibly hyped and I am really excited for August 20th. This expansion is coming out so soon already. I will of course be covering every single piece of news of this expansion over on my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Levanity, and I'll be making lots of YouTube videos as well. I hope I'll see you there. It feels like a pretty incredible time to be a Guild Wars 2 fan.